here on the turn or here on the river.
All right. So once again, to reset the situation here.
The turn is the turn is a 3 or hot, which was scary because it looked really good. Like it could have been a 4 there. He's down to 2 outs and 2 outs only, and we may have our November 9.
All right, so we are one card away. Luis Velador trying to hang on, but he's going to need a 4 on this one against the 5s.
The Brazilians are yelling for a 5 to send Bruno to November.
So we are 1 away right now. We're getting ready for the river card. It could be over. Luis Velador with 4s against Mark Newhouse's 5s.
Here comes the river. Ace of spades on the river.
And it is an ace.
November 9.
And there it is. It is all over. Mark Newhouse takes matters into his own hands.
But obviously, Clark Newhouse full house, ace is full of 5s, Lewis is full house with ace is full of 4s. We do have on November 9, about an hour before the prediction that it was going to go to 145. We're approximately over at 12:50. And we got a Brazilian, and the crowd is, they're lifting Bruno. Bruno is in the stands right now, and he's being lifted by his supporters. And the confetti is popping. It's an incredible scene here. Snoop Dogg has Bruno raised above the crowd. Bruno's going to lift it back to the crowd now. Bruno is in the middle of the crowd, though. He's with his supporters, and it's as you can hear, the Brazilians have finally this week something good is happening for Brazil.
All right, and that is going to do it. So we have our November 9 as probably the most experienced tournament player in the field goes down as Luis Velador. Yeah. And what a call by Mark Newhouse. Unbelievable.
Lewis, he started the final table with $23.62 million, and it went away.
Yep.
It went away.
The call with the ace-king ends up costing him this tournament.
The only player that's still at the table is Clark Newhouse. Every other player is in the stands being hugged and embraced by their supporters. Now the players are kind of congratulating each other, hugging each other. So it's a wild and crazy scene here, but we do have on November 9. And I'm more than happy to have brought you this live update. I'll swing it back to Mark, and I'll see you outside in a couple of minutes, Mark.
All right. So there you go, everybody. The November 9 is set, and what a sensational finish to this evening's play. Of course, we're not done yet because we come back in November, and somebody's going to be the world champion out of these 9 men. But Luis Velador, of course, unfortunately, the ace-king call ends up costing him, and he ends up on the short stack, and then an unbelievable gutsy call by Mark Newhouse to finish this thing off. To put this thing away with, Newhouse with 5s. Taking the shot at that, and, of course, that could have put Newhouse in a little bit of jeopardy, but Luis Velador holding 4s, an amazing read by Mark Newhouse, and all of a sudden, what many people would have thought was an impossible feat, getting to the final table of the World Series of Poker in the main event, back-to-back years, with so many players playing, besting a field of 6,300 plus, and now 6,600 plus, to do this twice. What an incredible accomplishment by Mark Newhouse. But, of course, we also have quite an eclectic field of players. I'm going to tell you what, we are going to have something special happening here come November 10th at the Penn and Teller Theater here at the Rio. We'll see if those chip counts get updated at any point. And sorry we lost the broadcast room, and I kind of had a feeling that was coming, of course. But your final 9 are set, and 1 second here, and we will take a look at that group. But they are going to be partying in Brazil tonight as they've got a man on the final table. And Of course, your chip leader, the guy that's probably going to get some serious attention coming into for the next 90 days, and you better get used to it. You're the chip leader at the World Series of Poker. Jorrit van Hoof out of Eindhoven, the Netherlands. Of course, a mixed game, cash game specialist is now going to be standing on the threshold of trying to win the world title. Felix Stevenson, a man with $22,000 in cashes, will come in second at $32,870,000. And Donny Larabe, who looked like he was going to be the out the door, but manages to get those aces at the right time, gets the call from Velador, and ends up sitting in third. Well, actually, Newhouse is probably going to come in third here thanks to that hand, but Larabe will be in fourth. Dan Sindelar, of course, a very experienced player. A lot of people know Dan here from Las Vegas. Is at $21,300,000. The foosball champion and the man who's has under 20,000 in cash is William Papa Constantino, and he's going to be more torture for these guys on November 9 for the graphics boys putting his name up on the screen. He will come in around 18 and fifth, around 18,500,000. Of course, Mark Newhouse making history tonight, and he should be coming in around 25 or 26 million, so he'll be in third. William Tonking. A lot of people were saying William Tonking tweets. A lot of them out flying out there. William Tonking's going to win the main event. Tonking will, out of Flemington, New Jersey, will join this field at 15 million, around 15,150,000 chips. He was, of course, the short stack coming in with the last 10 players and manages to get the big double up that he needed to stay alive. So William Tonking will go to the final table. Martin Jacobson, the Swede, one of very well-respected professional, will now be going in here, but he will be going in 8th place. Kind of surprising. Of course, was the chip leader going in here, and sure will. Jacobson at 15 million in chips coming in, and he will come in 8th place in this field. And Bruno Politano, he's going to be the short stack, kids, but short on chips, but it's going to be long on fans. That is for sure. As the Brazilian will enter with 13.1. We kind of said that's odds are is going to be the threshold line, and how about that? So Bruno Politano will bring the Brazilian contingency up here, but that's not going to be an average short stack either in this thing. Normally we've seen these guys around 9.5 to 10 million. 13 million, a little more of a significant chip stack, and a lot of opportunities for him to bust some people, or at least double up and make some kills here come November. But wow, an unbelievable call. And of course, we're going to have Joe Payne as soon as he can make his way out through that Brazilian hallway. And when Joe comes out, I've got to go in and do an update with the Enjoy team. Oh, what an incredible night! And so we will have a new world champion. One of these guys is going to be the $10 million man here at the World Series of Poker. Unbelievable. And of course, I want to thank everybody that helped out tonight. We had a great guest. And of course, during the World Series, all of our team, Jesse Capps, Nate Dowland, Katie Stone, joining us, along with Joe Payne, who did an outstanding job tonight. But that is going to do it. So I want to have Joe sneak out here real quick if he can, and we wrap up our broadcast tonight. But a sensational evening here at the World Series of Poker, and of course we'll be back here in November, calling the action for you. We may be up way up in the balcony, but at least we'll be able to be ahead of the ESPN delay a little bit if we do. Last year it was kind of so we'll see what happens. But thank you for being with us, guys. And like I said, I'm just waiting to get Joe out here so we can do the wrap up, and I can go do my thing. And boy, the Brazilians are going nuts in there. You can, if you were here, you could hear him. I mean, I'm in the hallway and I can hear him going crazy. Politano was for a lot of this tournament was near the top of the board, but fell off here tonight and nearly missed. But fortunately for him, he pulls it off and comes home, and will be coming back to Brazil. A little bit of a celebration for him. Very nice job. So congratulations to Bruno Politano and the rest of the new November 9. Very good job. All right, so we'll get Joe Payne out here in just a little bit. How you doing? 25. And these? They're all 25. Is also run good? No, that's Team Poker Joker. All right. Sorry about that. And so we're just waiting for somebody to get out here. Joe should be coming out and our team, and we'll get everybody all set, and we'll do our Enjoy update. That's going to be fun, and wrap up our broadcast as well. Of course, it's been a long 51 days here at the World Series of Poker, and yeah, I'm tired. But it is done, and of course, we'll be seeing you again up in Calgary in a few weeks. Maybe somewhere else, too. We're working on that. So, amazing night. Just waiting. I think Joe got attacked by Brazilians.
You got what?
I think Joe got attacked by Brazilians in there. Just
I've seen him in the crowd with them.
yeah, he's pretty much screwed if he's trying to get out of there.
Come out to talk?
What?
Are you waiting for him to come talk on air?
Well, yeah. So because I was going to come with you guys, so.
He can sit and watch your stuff if you need.
Oh, okay.
You need somebody to be on air?
Well, I'll tell you what. I can put things on pause for a second. So.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll come back and wrap this up in just a little bit. Joe should be escaping the Brazilian riot going on in the Amazon room. That's kind of fitting. Brasilia, Amazon. Brazil, yeah. Well, that's terrible. All right, so we're going to take a pause here, and we'll be back to wrap things up. I'm going to see if we can grab a player or two. I'm not sure. The guys, of course, the guys have to do all their photos and everything else. But we will be back here in just a little bit here on the Mark Hoke Show. Thanks for joining us. Stick around for a wrap-up in just a little bit.
Okay, how do you say this guy's name? Is it Jort?
Jort.
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 I didn't know if like something was silent. I want to say it right. Jort. Okay. And then Papa Constantina. Constantina.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Here I go. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. What was it?
My beard.
Oh shit! Did it get all over something bad?
Now just caught my bag.
Oh.
Yes, he made it. Not only did he make it, he knocked out the 10 guys.
Oh, he was the one?
He was
I
the
didn't know
one.
that. Awesome. Okay. Oh, no, it's 104. 104. Huh?
You ready?
He's coming. He just knocked over his beer, so. Okay, thank you.
Still crazy. That was a pretty wild scene in there, huh? And you know what Bruno folded, right? Bruno folded pocket tens.
What?
The last hand.
One of the fours?
Yeah, 4 spots, he had pocket 10. So if he calls, Newhouse probably doesn't call. I don't think he can call that. What's that? Yeah.
All right, and we are back here. Sorry, I think we left the mic on. Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Joe.
What a finish.
Wow, what a night here at the World Series of Poker main event. Final table, and an emotional scene in the Amazon room. Boy, the Brazilians, they sure know how to bring it, don't they? Holy cow.
And it's funny part about it is that Bruno folded pocket tens, and I don't think Mark Newhouse can call if Bruno does call Lewis is all in.
Oh, no, he's out of that hand. No question about it.
The question, I wasn't sure how many chips Bruno had as compared to Lewis. I don't know if he would have actually eliminated him, but Bruno would have got all those chips.
Yeah, that was a tough spot for Bruno. Of course, he's now going to be the short stack going into the main event.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think
table.
he played to go to November by folding tens there. I don't think, this late, the blinds being 150 and 3, actually 2-4 with a $50,000 ante. I strike that. Can you find a hand better than? He initially raised to 800,000, and what I think Newhouse wanted to do there, because Bruno was getting a little aggressive. He just smooth called his raise, figuring he had position on him. He with a small pair, which is an okay call, Don't hit the flop, you can get away with it, and it costs you 800,000. But then when Lewis moved all in for the remainder of his chips, where everybody standing, I couldn't see that Bruno hadn't folded yet. I thought he folded already, but then I leaned in a different direction. I was able to see that he still had cards, and he thought a while, not too long though, for pocket tens. Because I think what he was saying is like, well, let's hope that Newhouse calls him, and I get a pass to November 9, and that's exactly what happened. Because I think once Bruno calls, Mark Newhouse cannot call there.
No, he's out of that hand. There's no question about it.
I think the hand that's going to come back to haunt Lewis is the calling with the ace, calling a whole bunch of chips
the
off
ace king
with the ace king. One of the hands that people, regular pros and novice players, overplay is the ace king.
And of course Velador, a two-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner. Here's a guy who really understands the physics of the game and how things work, and with an ace king on that board,
which makes you wonder why he made that call there.
I think he was just trying to end that. And felt like, look, I've got a hand here, I've got a shot. I'm still going to have some chips left over if I go down, and but unfortunately that turns out to be the pivotal hand for the final 10.
When we came back, when we made to the final table, he had almost 24 million in chips, 23.6 I think, or somewhere in that area, and I think that he might have just got a little bit too sloppy. And you and I have talked about this. How aggressive should you be when you're this close to? And November 9 has a special value to it. You'll always be remembered as being one of the November 9. It's unique. It's only happens once a year, and I think Lewis may have let it slip out of his hands by overplaying that one hand with ace king.
Yeah,
and then he gets caught with the fours.
Yep. So Luis Velador is gone, and then on the flip side of that, what an amazing call by Mark Newhouse. I don't know if I'd have been able to make that call with fives in that spot, but a courageous play by Mark, not only to end this thing, but to propel himself into poker history now. And
like Nolan said when I was standing around when you had Nolan on between the break there, he thought that if Mark did make it into the November 9, that would be a pretty impressive feat. Maybe not as strong as Johnny Chan going 1 and 2. But pretty impressive because, like I say, John had smaller fields where Mark has gone through 66,000 players each year to get down to the final 9. So, and he's going to have a whole bunch of chips too at the final table.
Yeah. So actually, let me refresh.
Yeah, when you refresh,
real
let's
quick,
see who the
because I thought Newhouse should have had more chips at that point, and there it is. So here's your final 9. November 9 headed back here. The Penn and Teller Theater on November 10th, so book your calendars now, kids.
That would be Monday.
starting in the ninth position, Bruno Politano, the
Or
Brazilian,
Foster,
who's going to
actually.
bring.
The crowd was. He's known as Bruno Foster in Brazil. I've sitting among the Brazilians for 13 hours today. I found out a lot. Yeah, his actual Brazilian name, and that's what. And ironically, someone handed him a big can of Foster beer.
Oh.
Right at the end there, and that he was kind of took a nice chug, and he was very emotional, as was the Brazilian crowd, and I think it's great for poker. It's going to be great for Brazil.
Yep.
They had, like we say, they had a very disappointing week at the World Cup, but now at the World Series.
Well, so Politano is going to be heading in 12,125,000 in chips. Martin Jacobson, I think, has to be a little bit disappointed with where he ended up today. Started the day off at 22 million, was the chip leader. And, once again, we flipped that around, and Jacobson really didn't take too many chances today. The couple that he did, really didn't work out. And Jacobson now is going to be coming in at 14,900,000 in eighth. But you really feel like Jacobson kind of should have been a little bit higher.
Yeah, I
Reasonable?
guess. Reasonable, yep.
Yep.
A lot of pressure, Mark. There's a lot of pressure when you're down to the final 27 players. You're looking at a lot of money.
Yeah, and and we even said coming into today, that 22 million in chips, odds are is going to be enough to hold up. Even if he sits back and doesn't do anything crazy, should have been enough to get him into the November 9, and it turns out it was. William Papaconstantino, the world foosball champion, is going to be trying to become a world poker champion. Of course, out of Draycote, Massachusetts, 17,500,000 in chips. He is on his way, along with this guy, Dan Sindelar.
He's on the phone.
He's on the phone, and don't blame him. I'm sure these guys' phones are blowing up right now. William Tonking. Don't know much about William. We got to do a little more research there. But out of Flemington, New Jersey, he will come in here with 20,050,000. He had a critical hand. Of course, came in as the short stack onto this unofficial final table, and manages to double up and comes in at 20 million chips. A decent position for him going into this one. Dan Sindelar, we just saw over there. Well, he just put his 51st cash on the board, and officially, and what a big one it is. Dan, of course, has won over $500,000 playing poker in tournaments. He comes in at 21,200,000. And Donny Larabe, of course, the beneficiary of the
pocket
aces against the ace king,
yep.
And ends up propelling him into fourth. But once again, we got a bunch of players there. He's going to be at 22,550,000. Mark Newhouse, who honestly I really think has got to be the favorite coming in.
I was just going to ask you that. Who do you peg as the favorite?
Because of the experience factor, he is down a little bit, but Van Hoof is not going to be easy to get out of there. But I've got to like Mark Newhouse's chances. He'll come in with 26 million in chips. Felix Stevenson, the $22,000 man, that is all he has won in poker tournaments.
Not anymore.
Now puts $750,000 in his pocket. He will be in second, 32,775,000. And the guy that's going to get all the attention now is the chip leader. Even though I think this almost works out better for him with Newhouse doing what he did. But Jorrit van Hoof out of the Netherlands will be the chip leader going into the main event final table. 38,375,000. And that is an interesting point with Van Hoof. Is normally the chip leader gets a ton of attention and a ton of media.
I think Newhouse is going to.
But now Newhouse is going to take that off of him.
Newhouse is going to steal his thunder.
Yeah, so Van Hoof is going to be able to. I don't think he'll get through this anonymously, but certainly it's going to be huge with Newhouse doing what he's done.
Especially if he goes back to the Netherlands for the 100 days that is going to transpire in between. He might be able to kind of disappear into the weeds, so to speak.
Yeah, which might not be a bad call. So what an amazing tournament here, Joe. And, of course, we started with 27 players today, and taking it all the way back, 6,683 players entering this main event this year. We are down to 9, and and it's just gonna this field overall. It's an international field, so we're gonna generate a lot of interest around the world. We have some very amateur players playing.
I wouldn't call them amateur anymore.
Yeah, they got put through the fire. But in terms of the scope of things, there's going to be some guys
scope
here
of their past.
considered amateurs that are probably going to capture some attention of people, saying, just like Chris Moneymaker, here's a guy that really just came in and to the world's greatest poker tournament,
And
and,
they made
now
it,
is sitting here with a chance to win
and
it
they
all.
made a 2-time bracelet winner, Self-Explode.
Yep. So
There
this
you
is
go.
going to be one hell of a final table. I think very enjoyable, and these guys, some great players and some young guns coming in.
Where does is Newhouse from? Las Vegas?
Los Angeles,
Oh,
California.
okay, it's close.
So
Close
nearby.
enough.
We'll drag him into KLAV. We'll get him in
Good
there.
luck with that.
Yeah, we'll work on it. But yeah, so this is going to be a great one, and of course, that wraps up our coverage of the 2014
Wow.
World Series of Poker.
You worked me hard, boy. I tell you that.
Man, I'll tell you what, 51 plus days of a grind in here. So many exciting things happened. But Joe, of course, I thank the rest of the team, but I want to make sure I thank you on camera personally for all of your efforts. Just a stellar job. And
I thank you very much. I had a blast. When you do a job that you like doing, it doesn't feel like a job. And
yeah.
it was the first time I actually got that into the final table and had been able to cover it very close up. And I do apologize for that one hand, getting the hands wrong between Newhouse. It was just,
we fixed it.
yeah, as you know, the frenzy going on, and and I kind of turned. And,
I've been there.
And when the dealer put the hands out, I was like, oh shit, whose hand is who here now? Wait a second. And I should have just went with where the left hand and the right hand, based upon how the players are sitting at the table. But I just wanted to get it out as quick as possible, and I made the wrong call there. But when I saw the chips going, I'm like, wait a second, time out. it's Newhouse who had the ace.
Yep. Oh,
and,
man. Yeah.
Interesting. It was a great day. I had a blast. I am exhausted. I'm glad I'm going to be able to sleep in tomorrow.
Oh, thank me too.
But we're back at it on Wednesday.
Yeah. Chad Holloway is going to join us on KLAV 12:30 a.m. And, of course, you'll also catch us on the internet, KLAV1230am.com. And so Chad Holloway, the number one reporter from Poker News. No
I'm interested what
it.
his take on this last couple of hands were.
Yeah.
I'm interested in his take on Bruno folding the tens there.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big, because Bruno would have some chips.
Yeah, he
Bruno,
did. Yeah, he
Bruno wouldn't be the low.
Bruno
Wouldn't be the low stack. But again, we talked about this throughout the day.
You gotta get there first.
Do you
know?
Do you try to fold your way to the November 9? And I believe Bruno took a calculated risk there, because if Lewis wins, now Bruno is at the bottom of the heap, so to speak.
Yeah, and it would have been all over
for
him. So.
Wouldn't have been all over for him, because
they're pretty close.
What happened here tonight, we went to the final table pretty quickly, and it looked like, because there were like 3 starting stacks that were pretty short, we thought we were going to be out of here quick, but the short stacks kept on winning their hands.
Yep.
And just propelling themselves. It's incredible.
Do you realize, by the way, somebody, and I'm trying to remember who said this to me about the potential disaster of 2 guys going out
on the same hand?
The last hand together.
Oh, my God.
And
November 9 will be November 8.
I mean, could you imagine what would have happened if Newhouse... If Bruno goes in, Newhouse makes a call and hits a 5.
He takes out 2 players.
It could have happened.
Officially, I think Bruno would have been the official 9th place finisher, because he had more chips than Luis. But wow, that would have been interesting.
I forgot about that possibility.
Yeah, he came over when they were waiting for the setup. After the all-in was called by Mark, Bruno ran over to the rail, and I was literally sitting among the Brazilians. And he came over and in a low tone told his boys and his girls he folded pocket tens there. It's like, oh wow, that's daring, because if Lewis wins, then he's the target.
Yeah, and Newhouse is in trouble too. So yeah, it could have. Well, could have been, should have been, but that's that. I think, and I don't think it's a bad play. I really don't. You're trying to. You got the other short stack in there. Get the hell out of the way and. And let that guy bury himself one way or another. And Mark, and to Mark Newhouse's credit, a call with 5s there that you just would not expect.
We've seen some calls today that, and then again, I'm outside the rail and they're inside the rail, but there's some hands that you kind of scratch your head, like even when Mark called with ace, I think it was ace 5 against the king queen, for a lot of chips there too. I mean, the board ran out, nothing, and Mark eliminated a play with just ace high. I think it was ace 5. I've seen so many hands today, and I literally have
look at that pile. There you go.
Thousands of notes of hands, and I have probably about 7, 8 hands on each sheet of paper. So it was fun tracking it. A little difficult from the vantage point, because when you sit down that low, you don't have a good perspective. You can't see over players. You
Right.
can't see their chips. You can't see. You can see their emotions, but sometimes you know, are they reaching in to throw their cards in, or are they throwing chips in? So it was a little difficult, and we were working live. So and we're trying to get it out there to our listeners as almost literally instantaneously.
Yep.
And I think we beat a lot of media outlets to that today.
We did all right.
Yeah, we did good.
We did very good.
I hope people recognize that you know you listen to the Mark Koch show. You're gonna see it, and you're gonna know it before anyone else.
You betcha. Well, so I guess that is going to wrap up our coverage of the 2014 World Series of Poker until November 9, of course.
All we got to do now is just break down the set.
Yeah.
Is that all?
That's it. That's it. And get it out of here, too.
And get it out of here, too.
All right. So on behalf of Joe Payne and the rest of the Mark Koch Show team that put in a great effort for us here at the WSOP, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We had a blast, and of course, follow us throughout the year. We've got some great events we're going to be attending. We've got the shows on KLAV and soon to be the K-Bad show, too. I mean, what a great time it's going to be. If you thought the 2013-2014 loop was good, well, just wait. We're going to knock it out of the park here, 2014-15. Just like the Brazilians. We're going to be singing their songs and doing our chants, baby. So that'll do it, guys. We will see you.
Here come the Brazilians.
Uh-oh. Wait, can we wrap it up? Oh, my God.
I think it's just a great way to end the show.
And it's Marco.
The Brazilians are coming down the hallway, and you can hear
goodness. The fans of Bruno Politano.
Here they come.
Brazil!
And Bruno's not even with them.
No.
They're having their own little celebration for Bruno, who's at the cage picking up, they pay all the players tonight the 9th place prize.
Yeah.
Bruno's picking up a $7.75, I think it is, or somewhere in that area.
That's crazy.
That's funny. I will tell you this. Here's my prediction, Mark. The Penn and Teller Theater.
Oh, my God.
The Snoop Dogg is rolling on the floor.
Scooby-Doo over there.
Scooby-Doo. What I call him Scooby.
You did call him Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I did call him. Scooby-Doo is rolling on the floor. The Penn and Teller Theater.
Maybe we're not wrapping up.
I thought it was over.
Not quite.
Can I turn the camera around?
Sure, why not? The Brazilian fans celebrating. Wow, a celebration in the Rotunda here at the World Series of Poker. Oh, man. Unbelievable. I have no idea what these guys have planned. And of course, in other towns across the United States where these players have families and friends, there's going to be massive celebrations going on too. But of course, these Brazilian fans, the most vocal ones here at the World Series of Poker. We got Scooby-Doo crawling around. I don't even. This is unbelievable. That it will truly be a World Series of Poker main event coming up here.
I think we've.
Wow.
I think we've milked the Brazilian crowd for all of their worth, and then some.
Right.
Mark, my pleasure. I had a blast. I'm glad you invited me down to do this with you, and I look forward to many more adventures with you.
You betcha. You betcha, buddy. Great job. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Hey, we'll see you at the November 9. Of course, other great events, just check out markhoaxshow.com. Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show. You're going to know everything happening. Get those podcasts on iTunes and markhoaxshow.podbean.com. And that's going to do it here from the World Series of Poker, the main event. We are off to the November 9. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.